Hey guys! Oh man, wow, it's finally time for the Colosseum. And this place has been so much fun. I've been having a literal blast here since, basically since release. I've been doing this a ton. And I finally beat him a few times. I got a few KC under my belt. I think I got about 5 KC. And, I've learned a very simple method, or at least the easiest method I found, to do the waves. And that's what I want to show today. So this isn't an efficiency guide, and it's not a speedrun guide or a budget build. But this is the way that I found to beat the waves relatively simply. So I'll be using basically a full mage setup. I have all mage gear. I have an infernal cape. You can bring a fire cape. And I'm using Burrow's gloves. The important things to know is I have a weapon that can auto cast barrage spells. So I have mine set to blood. And a shield. A shield with good range defense. So um, an Ellie works. I'm using the Elidness Ward. It's very good, in my opinion. You can use a Crystal Shield if you don't have either of those. But you want something with good range defense. As for my inventory, I got a two-way tank swap, so this will come in handy. It's a two-way tank swap. Uh, a magic weapon, and the full five-way swap is just for the boss. Same thing with the combat potion, just for the boss. Otherwise, I'm bringing a heart. 10. You don't need a heart. 10 brews and 9 restores. Finally, the last thing would be the visual metronome plugin. I'm using a visual metronome set to 5 ticks. And I also have a tick counter down here. And this has come in very handy for solving the waves. This will be very handy when we're solving the waves. And you'll see why. Or actually when we're engaging the waves. And you'll see why. So very important to have this down here set to 5 tick. But yeah, let's go. Let's send it. So we're going to be showing off how to do the 11 waves. And we'll have a separate video later for the boss. But this one is just how to solve the waves as easily as possible. And to start off, because I'm using a shadow and I'll need an extra inventory slot, I drop one of my restores down there. Otherwise, let's start the first wave. We'll pray mage. And we'll take Blasphemy. It's really the only viable option, especially when learning. So we'll take Blasphemy. Mage pray on, and we'll barrage the clump. Throw a second one. That'll kill the meleeer. And we'll get down to the major. We'll start killing the major. When these guys come close to us, we can barrage the whole group. Alright, now we'll barrage the group. And easy peasy. So what we want to do now, starting on wave 2, is we're always going to want to start on our engage tile. I'm standing on the engage tile. Maybe I should bring that up. My tiles will be in the, my tile indicators will be in the description. But you might have heard of this B5 tile. And B5 is very nice. Let me close this. B5 is really nice. It's good. But we're going to be starting 2 tiles east of that. 2 tiles east, which I'm calling the engage tile. And like I said, my tiles will be in the description if you want to use this one. But from this pillar on the west side door, it's 7 tiles over. I'm 7 tiles east of this pillar right here. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to choose our invo. And for the mage setup, Myopia is totally free because we can always barrage at max range 10 tiles, even if we start upgrading Myopia, which decreases our attack range. So my shadow, which is 10 tiles distance, will go down to 8. But barrage will always be 10 no matter what. So we'll start with this. So here's how we're going to engage. We're on our engage tile right now. We're standing on engage. And I'm going to choose my invo. And when my tile, my visual metronome says 1, when it says 1, I'm going to click continue. And then when it says 1 again, I'm going to click to either A or B. And it doesn't matter. I'm just going to click to A or B. So here we go. When it says 1, I'm going to click continue. And click. And click. And the wave is instantly set. Look at that. All we have on us is 1 minion. It's the mage minion. And we just barrage the clump really fast. 2 barrages will insta-kill the meleeer. It'll always kill the meleeer. And then we can just deal with the major. And if we want, we can lazy flick. We don't have to. But it saves a little bit of prayer. But it's nice. The wave is instantly solved if we use that little visual metronome technique. So here comes the meleeer. And if we just stand here, he's automatically safe spotted. And we can just heal right off him. So there we go. We'll get our HP back up to 99. And we'll continue on with the wave. Not using any prayers for this, saving our prayer. We got plenty of supplies if we need them. And once he's down, we'll go on to the ranger. And the important part with the ranger, you know, we can lazy flick. We can do prayer flicking to save some prayer. But it's much more important to be dodging the mortars. You know, if you can prayer flick as much as you want, if you accidentally get hit one time or the mortar hits you or something, it negates all the effort that you just put into your lazy flicking. Because of the smite. So there he goes. He's down. And we start on our engage tile. We always want to be starting on our engage tile. Throw our barrage gear on. And like I said, myopia is free. So we're going to take this as often as possible. We'll be upgrading myopia. When our tick counter says 1, we're going to click continue. So here we go. Click. Click. And the wave is instantly set. Because none of the monsters are seeing us, we can pray melee against the melee Fremnik. He's the only one that does any sort of significant damage. And we'll just barrage down the clump of Fremniks. There they go. And now, because I don't want to deal with a major and a ranger at the same time, because I don't want them both to be seeing me at the same time. Actually, let me wait for the meleeer to spawn. Let's see what the meleeer does. He'll come any second now. Here he comes, and there he is. So when the meleeer spawns, he'll be dragged right over here, and he's instantly safe spotted. Nothing more for us to do. We can save our prayer. We don't got to turn any prayer on. We can just kill the meleeer. And he's down. So to deal with the ranger and the major at the same time, I stand as far away as possible. I'm all the way down here. And this way, the major can't see me. But because I have myopia on, my staff won't reach all the way there. But like I said, barrage will always work at max distance. So I can use barrage from 10 tiles away, even with myopia on. And I can just kill the ranger. So this is a very nice technique. And it can't be used with the range or the melee method. You can only, I mean, I guess if you have mage gear with you, but if you bring a full mage setup, you can always be barraging at max distance. Very easy, very convenient when you get a weird stack like this, where you have a ranger and a major both looking at you at the same time. So we can do a little lazy flicking if we want. We don't have to. But it'll save a little prayer. And a lazy flick is when you turn your prayer on for one tick, the same tick that he's going to be attacking on, and then you turn it right back off. And that way you protect against his attack, but you don't waste any prayer. But like I said, it's much more important to just dodge his mortars and not get hit than focus on perfect lazy flicking. We have more than enough supplies to make it all the way through this run, even if we don't do any fancy flicks, any fancy prayer techniques, but we can. I'm not saying it doesn't help, it definitely helps. So yeah, we'll lazy flick this guy. It's killing both at once, which is nice. We're getting a little extra damage on that ranger. Now we just take him down, and we get ready to head to our engage tile. Just be careful to dodge the mortars. Dodge the mortars whenever they come. Here it is. Let's even use our heart. Give us a DPS increase. And we'll get to our engage tile. Barrage gear on. And we're entering wave 4. Again, myopia is free. You never want bees. Never ever take bees. Never ever take doom. Those are horrible. Absolutely horrible invos. So take myopia. It's free. There's other ones. We'll talk about those when we get them. So we'll take myopia. And we're going to click continue on 1. So here we go. Click. Click. And the wave is instantly set again. If no one is seeing us, if no one's looking at us, we can just pray melee while the melee Fremnik is up. If someone is looking at us, we'll pray against them. So like if a major saw us or a mana core, we'd be focusing on them. But if no one can see us, we're going to pray melee against the melee minion. And now we just wait for the meleeer to spawn. So here, check this out really quick. We have a mana core and a major, and they're stacked up. And it's really nice because when you get something like this, and you don't want to deal with it, you can try to do this little zigzag. So watch this. Watch what happens to these two guys when I do a little zigzag. Boop. It separates them. And now they're not stacked up anymore. Now that doesn't work all the time. Doesn't work 100% of the time, depending on like what the stack is. Like if it's a ranger or a ranger and a major, and who's in the front, who's in the back, what side of the pillar are you on. But sometimes it works. So if you have a weird stack, it's always worth it to try to do that little zigzag. See if it helps. Sometimes it does. Otherwise, yep, the meleeer gets safe spotted, and we can just deal with him and the major one at a time. Lazy flick is necessary. You don't got to be perfect. Just make sure your prayer's on in time. And now, because these two are standing right next to each other, we can barrage them both. Hit them both on the same time. Save some spells, save some runes, save some prayer, save some time. So if you got two next to each other where their true tiles are touching, always useful to do a little double hit barrage. Again, we're not super worried about our prayer. We have tons of supplies. Looks like he's down, and now we can deal with the mana core. So this mana core will be doing range, mage, melee. So here it goes. And this fancy technique, it must be learned. There's no way about it. If you want to beat the Colosseum, you got to learn how to do the little mana core flick. Alright, and we can talk a little more about it next time we're killing a mana core. Let's see, what do we got? I'd like to avoid solar flare, and I really don't like quartet. You know, I guess it's okay, but I do not like quartet. And solar flare is okay, but I'd like to save it for later. So we'll just go with blasphemy 2, slightly bigger smite, and we're entering wave 5. So we will, again, we'll click continue on 1. Click. Click. And the wave is instantly set. all we got to deal with is that major. Barrage down the clump. And whatever damage that meleeer did do to us, we're able to instantly heal back up by just barraging the rest of the clump. Look, we're back to 95 health. Even if the meleeer hits us. 99 health. Cool. So easy free solve. If we do this little engage technique, there's a very high chance that we get very good solves. It doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes you still get a really crappy solve. And it's unfortunate, but you have a very high chance of getting a good solve right off the bat. Right off the bat, if you do this little engage method. So let's see. We have a major behind a ranger. And what we can do is stand way in the back again, like we did before, and kill one at a time. Kill the front one. Right? The back one can't hit us. If you have myopia, you cannot do this with the range method. This can only be done with the mage method. Standing way far back like this, casting your barrages. Right, so there is definitely an added benefit to doing the mage method, at least when it comes to simplicity, over the range or melee method. Right, it's a little slow, but if we're just going for our first quivers, speed doesn't matter. We're not trying to speed run, we just want to get our quiver. Right, and now we can just deal with one at a time. So we're back to just a Manicore and a Mage. We can kill one at a time. So the way it works, this guy's starting with range, and as soon as he moves, there, I click the Mage Prey. So range on now. When he moves, I click Mage. Boom. And that's the Manicore flick. Start with range, Mage, melee. Start with range, mage, melee. Alright, so that's the Manicore flick. Not that hard. Might take a little practice getting used to, but it must be learned if you want to beat the Colosseum. It has to be learned. No way around it. You're going to have to flick Manicores. They have a ridiculously long attack range, longer than any other weapon that you can use. You can't, there's no way around it. If you want to kill the Manicores, you have to learn the Manicore flick. So we'll get back to our engage tile. Let's see what we got. We're going into wave 6. So we'll take Blasphemy again. Never want bees. Re-entry is okay in later waves. You don't want to take this too early. So Blasphemy is what we're going to get stuck with. Now we have a big smite. 60% smite. So we'll take it and we'll engage on 1. Click. Click. Alright, and we got 2 rangers looking at us this time. That's okay. 2 rangers is really no different than 1. Dodge the mortars. Wish this guy would die. Alright, and we'll start dealing with the rangers. Now what sucks is that the meleeer is going to spawn and he brought his mage buddies, so we gotta run. We gotta run. Dodge that mortar. And it looks like all we got now is the major. So we can blood barrage, get our health back. The meleeer is stuck way back there. So wave 6 is one of the hardest waves in my opinion. Now we have a very ugly stack. This stack looks horrible. So how are we going to deal with this? Now, a lot of people like to just go down to the next pillar. You know, they want to go down to the next pillar. That will not work for this. That actually will not work for this. You're going to end up, if you ran to this pillar, you're still going to have to deal with a ranger and a manicore, and then even the meleeer is going to be coming in hot. So that won't work. So here's how we're going to solve this. We're going to put our tank gear on, top ourselves off. We got plenty of supplies. Get our prayer up. And what we're going to do is we're going to run diagonal to get rid of this awful triple stack. To deal with this horrible triple stack, we're going to run diagonal. We're going to run over here. So when we run, I think we'll pray against the rangers and we'll try to flick the manicore's melee attack, which is his third attack, and then we'll go back to range. So this is definitely a messy setup, but let's see how it goes. So here we go. Go. Now we'll pray range again. And it all worked out very well. It all worked out extremely well. So look, all we got is a ranger. So when you have a horrible triple stack looking at you like that, a very safe bet is to go to a diagonal pillar. Not a pillar next to you, right? Not just to the next pillar in the rotation, right? Run diagonally. And that will very oftentimes set up your, it'll set up your wave. And that usually happens on waves where there's a ton of monsters, and that's wave 6. Wave 6 has a ton of monsters, which is why I think that wave 6 is one of the hardest waves in the Colosseum. But let's see, the ranger's down, and what can we do next? So we got a ranger and a mage. We've already talked about how to deal with those, so we'll run as far back as we can, and we'll just deal with the one up front. So there it is. Major can't even see us. We're far enough away, the major can't even see us. And again, because we have myopia, this can only be done with barrage. Let's put our heart on, speed things up a little bit. Looks like we're even killing the mage at the same time because their true tiles are touching. So look at that, the mage is already going down. And once that mage is down, we can even put our main weapon on and just finish him off. Alright, there he goes. He's down. Okay, so now we have a melee and a manticore. So we have a couple options right here. Let's just safe spot the melee. So looking at his true tile, right? If I go over here and step out, the melee is going to come down and slap me. If I do it on this side based on his true tile, he'll be safe spotted. So let's just kill the manticore from here. Right, so mage pray on. He's starting with mage. Take one more step forward and kill the manticore. And we're only worried about the manticore attacks, so we'll just play it safe. Take one down at a time. And because the manticore is basically wasting our prayer, is why I'm killing him first. The meleeer can be killed at any time. The manticore is actually using our prayer points, so we'll take him out first. Looks like he's down. We're at full health. So let's get down toward our engage tile. We always want to be close to our engage tile. Uh-oh. And let me even pick up my potion. That potion's just sitting there. And we've already used one. We have plenty of room. So we'll take our potion back. And we're already halfway through the Colosseum. Look at that. Look at that. So now we can finally start seeing uniques if we get lucky. So anyway, For Wave 7, we're going to start seeing new monsters. We're going to start seeing the Major, the Shockwave Colossus, and we're going to start seeing the Minotaur. And I want to talk about the Shockwave Colossus. He is a Major. He only uses Mage, and he hits extremely hard. He hits like mid-50s. He hits very hard. So in waves with Majors, Shockwave Colossus, we're going to be starting in our tank gear. And that way, if we pray against Mage, which we will be, and one of the Rangers happens to see us and slap us, at least we're in our tank gear, and maybe we don't take that much damage. It's just an extra precaution. And our invos are really bad. These are horrible invos. Doom is awful. Red flag Minotaur means that you can't safe spot the Minotaur. That's absolutely horrible too. So we're going to get stuck with Dynamic Duo, but it's not that bad. This means we're going to get 2 Majors instead of 1. So let's do that, and we'll engage on 1. 1. Pray Mage. 1. And the wave is instantly set again. So it even works on the late waves. This method even works on late waves. That's quite the stack. Holy cow. Oh, let me pray the right. Maybe put my mage gear on. And we're already at 99 health, so let's just kill him really quick. So check this out. The tile I'm standing on forces all these guys to be in a row. And that will force the Minotaur all the way down. Look at him go. Boom. And he's safe spotted. See when I move left and right, those guys move? See the bat guys? They're moving with me. If I stand on A, they all line up in a row, and it forces the Minotaur all the way down, so he doesn't accidentally get stuck in like this little corner right there. In which case, if he does, we have to lure him back out, which is a pain. We can do it, but it's a pain. But this is nice. So the fact that I was standing on A and they all lined up in a row, it makes the Minotaur come, like he works his way down to the safe spot very nicely. So good to know. Maybe we get an opportunity later where we show if he gets stuck there, for instance. How do we lure him down? How do we do that? But we'll get to that if it happens. For now, we can just safe spot the Minotaur. He can be safe spotted on all 4 of these tiles. These are all Minotaur safe spot tiles. So he can't see us on any of those. Alright, let's see what happens with the Manticore. Because he hasn't even seen us yet. What's his style? Oh, he starts with range. That sucks. Okay. So Manticore is range. And we have all these majors. Now, what did we just say a few minutes ago? When we have a giant stack like this, when we have a giant 3-stack, we're going to run diagonal. Right? If we come down here, it won't work. We'll end up having both of these guys, the Manticore and the Major, will see us if we run down here. We have to go diagonal. So here's what we'll do. Tank gear on, because we're going to be tanking at least 1 hit, probably 2 hits from the Ranger, and we're even going to tank a few Manticore hits, but it's what we're going to do. So we're in full tank. Pray Mage, defense prayer on, and go. Oh, wow. We took 7 damage, 6 damage. Very nice. And look, the wave is totally set. The wave is completely free at this point. So running diagonal when you have those horrible 3-stacks is almost always a good way to solve the wave. Almost always. Just make sure that if majors are hitting you, you're praying mage. And if there's also rangers and things hitting you, you want to be wearing your tank gear. I guess it's a lot to think of, but it's probably the most complex movement patterns that we'll be doing with this setup. So anyway, now we have 2 majors. I'd like to kill the one in the back so that the Manticore never moves. So we'll start with the one in the back, and because we have myopia, we can only hit him with barrage. And that's okay. They don't have much health. We'll just kill him, and then we can get back to using our main hand weapon. is almost down, and he's dead, so now we can just kill the one. He's attacking on 2, I can lazy flick on 1. Lazy flick this guy, save a few prayer points. There we go, and now we kill the Manicore. Pray first. Now we get back on him. We got to start working our way down toward our engage tile. One more hit. Get ready to go to engage. There we go. And we'll put our barrage gear back on. So what do we got? Solar, flare, or quartet? I don't like any of these, really. We can't take red flag. This is absolute no-no. We can't take this. Quartet, I don't like it. We're just going to go with solar flare. It's only level 1. And if we level it up once, there's a good chance that, you know, it's not that bad of an imbo. We might get it again. And it might save us from really bad imbos. So anyway, wave 8. We have another round of majors coming. We do have more majors coming in wave 8. So we're going to start with our tank gear on. We'll go with solar flare, and when our tick counter says 1, we'll go. Go. Mage pray on, and go. And the wave is instantly set. We just have to deal with that ranger. He's the only one that can see us. Take our offensive prayer off. Barrage this guy. Get a little health back. Be careful of the mortars. This wave was instantly solved. It's free. Now I want to be clear. This won't happen all the time. Oh, and let's actually walk over here to A. So the Minotaur gets stacked up correctly. So there we go, right? We stood on A. Here comes the Minotaur. Now we go to our Minotaur safe spot. And we continue killing this guy. Now because we have Myopia on, this is 1, 2, 3. He's 4 tiles away. I don't know if I could hit him or not, but I don't want to risk it. So I'll just barrage him down. No big deal. We're not in a rush. Just got to dodge the mortars. We have plenty of supplies. Plenty of supplies. If I want, I can lazy flick. Just got to make sure don't get hit by the mortars. Right, so the lazy flick, it's not necessary. It's very useful to know. It's good to know. It does come in handy. It does save a lot of prayer over time. Especially in a half hour, 40-minute, whatever run. So it's good to learn the lazy flick, but you don't have to. Now, because of the way the Colosseum inbos work, we have smite, right? We're taking like 60% smite, so every damage we take actually drains our prayer a little bit. So our prayer drains very fast in the Colosseum. So learning the lazy flick is very useful. It is definitely useful. Anyway, let's see, how do we want to deal with this? So we don't know what the Manicore is. We don't know what the Manicore is yet. If it's magic, it'll actually be pretty nice. If it's magic, it's okay. But we don't know what it is. So the best way to solve this, because it's an unknown, and we have this major way in the back, let's just run back over here again. We'll run diagonally. It almost always sets the wave. So we'll put our tank gear on. Pray mage, put on a defensive prayer, and we'll take off running. Who cares about the ranger? Oh, he hit us a 12? And he hit us another 12. But the wave is set. Look at that. The whole wave gets immediately set. And now we can just deal with one thing at a time. So how do we want to do this? Well, let's kill the one in the back, and then we'll show what to do when we have a Manicore and a Major together, and they're the same style. This is a Mage Manicore. He starts with Mage. So let's kill the Colossus in the back, and then we'll talk... Oh, crap. That sucks. Could have been worse. So yeah, let's kill the Colossus in the back and see what happens. Waste a little bit of prayer, no big deal. We have plenty of it. Put our heart on, speed things up a bit. Lazy flicking just to save a little prayer. Now, it's risky to lazy flick when you have two majors on you. They could definitely stack you out. But I'm using the visual metronome. I noticed that they're attacking on 5, and therefore I'm turning my prayer on 4. But anyway, the major's down. We have good health. So let's talk about the Manicore, because when I step out, the Major and the Manicore will see me on the exact same tick, and they'll fall in sync. And because they both start with Mage, I can basically just focus on the Manicore and pray Mage in the meantime. See, check it out. So I'm focused on the Manicore, and I'm praying Mage in the meantime. Easy. Easy peasy. So it looks a lot scarier than it actually is, but in reality, you're just focused on the Manicore and praying the main prayer at all other times. It's not any harder than just praying against a normal Manicore like I'm doing right now. Except here I can turn my pray off. See, I got my pray off. When you have two monsters attacking you, like the Major, you have to keep your second prayer on, or your main prayer on. The Manicore is down, and we can just kill the Major. Work our way over toward our engage tile. Get our prayer up. We're actually doing very good on supplies. Use some prayer potions, but obviously that's expected. We haven't used like any brew. We've used a little bit of brew. Yep, we'll kill this guy, work our way down toward the engage tile. Is that it? Nope, not yet. I think that's it. And he's down. Alright, so the major waves are done for a little bit. Now we have double Manticore waves. Okay? So, again, really bad invos. Don't want Relentless. Don't want Doom Scorpion. We're going to get stuck with re-entry, but we're getting close to the end. So, re-entry is actually okay right now. We're on our engage tile, right? We're on our engage tile. And we'll start with re-entry. And we're going to pray range off the bat. So, I'll click continue on 1. Here we go. Click. Click. And it looks like we got to deal with the Manicore. Just praying against the Manicore. Oop. Would be nice if these guys would die. There we go. Now we just kill the Manticore. Look, there's the Minotaur. Oops. I was too focused on the Minotaur. Got hit by the Manticore. No big deal. Just get right back in pattern. Keep that prayer up. And even Wave 9 was solved for free. So the little engage method where we engage tick perfectly, and it's not that hard. We just use the visual metronome. We just follow what the visual metronome tick counter says. If we do that, we have a very high chance of starting most waves in a very friendly manner, where they can almost be instant set pretty much immediately. Not always. So don't think that you'll always get a perfect wave solve. Sometimes you don't, but it gives you a very high chance that you do. Is the Manticore down? Almost down. There we go. And we deal with the Minotaur. So you haven't really got a chance to see it, but the Minotaur can heal his friends. If he's close to his friends, if he's line of sight with his friends, and within, like, I don't know, I think it's like 4 or 5 tiles, he can heal his friends. What's nice is if he's stuck over here and then you have a monster who's stuck over here, they can't actually reach each other. So it's actually very convenient. If they do reach each other, if you're seeing the Minotaur is healing the monster that you're actually fighting, you probably have to kill the Minotaur first, or you have to move or something. It's just not going to work. So what do we got here? We don't know what the Manticore is, but we have a Ranger. So since we don't know what the Manticore is yet, instead of gambling and hoping that he's a Ranger so that they're the same style, and I don't even want to deal with 2 monsters in the first place, we'll just run south. If we run south, the Manticore gets safe spotted, and we can just deal with the Ranger. Now it's free. We only got 2 waves left after this, and we have plenty of supplies. So we just got to dodge the mortars. Let's put our heart back on. I could be lazy flicking, but I'm not really worried about my supplies right now, especially because we're already so late into the Colosseum and we have plenty of supplies. So yeah, the most intensive prayer that we've been doing in this entire run is Manticore flicking and occasional lazy flicking. So here we'll wait for this little orb to move so it doesn't mess with us, and now we can engage the Manticore. And we'll work our way toward our engage tile. And we're going into wave 10, the final 2 waves. There we go. Alright, so wave 10 can be tricky. Wave 10, we're going to have a lot of rain. We're going to have 2 Rangers and 2 Manticores. But what really sucks is that when the Minotaur spawns, he's bringing a Major with him. So the Minotaur can be pretty tricky in this one. Let's take Solar Flare 2 and see how it goes. So we'll start by praying range. Click. Click. And only the Manticore sees us. So I'm kind of waiting to see what the Minotaur does. And the Major got safe spotted. So this is actually another free wave. Let's keep our prayer up. Hard to see him, but the Major got safe spotted back there, so that was very convenient for us. We didn't even have to deal with him. So this is another free solve. And it's all thanks to our fancy engage. This stuff doesn't work out perfectly if you use the B5 tile. It doesn't work out as nicely with the B5 tile. It works out very well with this new engage tile. But in order for the new engage tile to work out, you have to be tick perfect, which is where this visual metronome comes in super duper handy. Alright, and he's down, and we're full health. And we're going to be going into wave... oh, this is already wave 10. We're going to be going into wave 11, the final normal wave before the boss, with huge supplies. We got 9 brews, and 4 full restores. We have huge mega supplies going into these final waves. Let's see, all my prayers off. So let's talk about what we're going to do next. So we have 2 rangers looking at us, and then we have a manticore and a mage in the background. And we don't know what style the manticore is yet. He hasn't awoken yet. So there's a couple ways we can engage this, but the safest thing is if I run down here to this pillar, both of the rangers will get stuck behind the pillar. They'll both get stuck behind the pillar, and the manticore and the mage are going to come around the side. The manticore will see us first, we can deal with him, and the mage will see us second, we can deal with him. Luckily, no one can see us right now, so we'll just pray range and run on over. Oh, I guess the mage saw us. Oh, well. Oh, he hit a 0 anyway. So there's the manticore, and here's the mage. So like I said, we can kill one at a time. So pray against the manticore. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And we kill the manticore. Once the manticore is down, we can just kill the little major. Save as much prayer as possible, but we don't really need to. We're very good on supplies. We have more than enough supplies to finish this off and do the final boss. We could even have a messy wave 11, and we have plenty of supplies to work with. So let's kill the major. We'll deal with the 2 rangers, and then we're on to the final wave. Not even going to worry about flicking. We have tons of supplies. We'll deal with these rangers. All we got to do is be careful of the mortars. It's same old at this point. think he's down. Maybe one more. There we go. On to the last one. And now all we have to do is solve wave 11 and we're home free. Dodge the mortar. And we're going into wave 11. So what do we got? What do we got? Alright, we're going to have to take explosions. We're going to have to take volatility. And that's going to suck for the Fremniks, but as long as we can get the wave set, we should be pretty good. So I think what I'm going to do for this one, because it's wave 11 and we have a major, we actually have two majors because of Dynamic Duo, we have to put our full tank gear on, and we're going to start with Prey Mage, and hopefully we get a good solve. Let's see how it goes. So volatility, we'll click on one. Click. Prey Mage. Click. Instant free solve. Totally free. Nothing can see us at all. Oops, I forgot about the explosions. No big deal. He's down. Move for the explosion. Don't want to forget twice in a row and look bad. Instant free solve. You got the majors way... Oh, let me actually put on my mage gear. That's probably why I'm hitting so bad. Got the majors way back there. Now we do have the Minotaur coming. Here he comes. Let's see what happens. Oh. Instant solve. So yeah. So this wave is basically done. We're going to make it all the way to the final boss. So let's talk about some recap really quick. The engage tile, the tick perfect engage, and then running over here, it works a ton of the time. This was actually a super smooth run. We can see our supplies right here. We are so stacked for the final boss. We're going to see the final boss and have a ton of supplies going in him. It should be, we don't even really have really bad inbos, right? We don't even have horrible inbos. We don't have Quartet. We don't have Bees. No Doom. No Doom Scorpion. We have like a low-level explosion, but we don't have Quartet. It's going to be pretty free going into the final boss, and we have a ton of supplies to work with. So, let's actually finish the wave really quick. I don't know what color these manticores are going to be. Oh, they're mages. That actually sucks. So how do we want to solve this? How do we want to solve this? It's actually a little messy. But because they're mages, and these guys back here are mages, the manticores are mages, this is a mage, this is actually very free. So let's do this. Here come all the mages. Now, how do we deal with this? We have two mage manticores, a mage here, and a mage here. We have so much mage going on. Oh my gosh, what do we do? It looks so scary. Do we have to run over here? And, you know, I guess we could. Or I think we can just mage flick the manticores and everything works out. Let's try it. And we can. So we're double flicking the manticores, and all the mage just lines up. It looks so scary. It looks so scary. And if we fall off tick, it could be devastating. But because everything was mage and the manticores were mage, everything lines up perfectly. So here we go. I guess the mage came down. I probably shouldn't have even moved. And now we're actually in a worse position than we were. Now we're actually in a kind of crappy position. If I didn't move, if I had been a little bolder, this wouldn't have happened. We could have just continued on, I think. I don't know. But this actually isn't so bad either. So we'll throw our tank gear on. And like I said before, right, when you have that giant stack, when you have that huge 4 stack or a 3 stack or something, what are we going to do? We're going to run diagonal. We're going to pray mage, flick the mana core, go back to the mage because they're very, very dangerous. And we might just tank a hit, maybe 2, from the rangers. So here we go, right? Oh, let's actually wait for this ball over here to get out of our way. So we're going to wait for the ball and we're going to take off. So here we go. Ready? Go. Tank the range hit. Tank the second range hit. And it's done. Let's go over here and kill the mages. It's over. The Colosseum has been solved. This wave has now been solved. I guess we have to do one more rotation when we deal with these two, but we're basically done. There's nothing left to do other than kill the final minions and see the final boss. So yeah, this is basically it. This is how you want to solve the waves. Now, it's a random encounter, right? The waves are always a little bit different. Every encounter is a little bit different than the last. Your inbos are a little bit different each time you run. My inbos were okay. They were pretty good inbos. I don't like taking the solar flare. I guess we did end up getting a re-entry, which is the mortars, but it didn't get too bad because it was only level 1. But we avoided all the horrible ones. So you always want to be avoiding bees, no totems, no dooms, God no dooms. But yeah, this is, it was a pretty fair run. We got really, we did get lucky with some of our engage spawns, but I'll tell you this, when you do the engage method, you have a very high chance, and I literally mean it, you have a very high chance of getting, spooned engage spawns like what we just saw here. So we're on the final engage. This is our final engage. And we'll just run over here and flick the mana core. Boom, boom, boom. Pray range. Ranger splashes. Well, actually, Ranger hit our range prayer. And we're done. The Colosseum is solved. That's it. All we got to do is kill one at a time. Absolutely nothing special left. That was a full 11 wave Colosseum run. And like I said earlier, the final boss, I will be making a final boss video later that will not be part of this video. But I really hope you guys got to see how this fancy tick perfect engage works, and how even though I'm using the word tick perfect, it's really not that scary. If you use the visual metronome, it makes it free, you know? So, practice your mana core flicks. Go back through the video and understand, like, when did I decide to go diagonal? What kind of criteria was met for me to choose to go diagonal? When did I decide I could flick manticores and multiple monsters at the same time? What caused me to make that kind of decision? Among other things. But yeah, that was all 11 waves. What did we make? So our loot isn't great. It ended up being 1.4 mil. It definitely could have been higher. When we finish the full run, it'll be about a 2 mil loot. We're going into the final boss. We have a good invo right here. So basically, when the final boss dies, he explodes. Not a big deal. We have, if we were to set up our final boss inventory, it'll end up looking something like this. So very, very strong supplies going into the final boss. there's no reason why, you know, once you get familiar fighting the boss, once you learn how the boss's mechanics work and stuff like that, this is more than enough supplies to take him down. He'll be going down easily, especially with these inbos in this supply stack. So I will be making a video for the final boss soon. But until then, I really hope this helped. I hope you got to see like how convenient the barrage was, right? Even with the myopia and the myopia 3 and stuff like that, you can still be ranging things from so far away. It gives you so much more utility when you're trying to solve these waves. But really, try to go back, understand the video, and dissect it. Understand, how were these waves solved? How did I know before I decided to run from pillar to pillar, which pillar was I going to go to? Ask me questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to give my responses. Oh no, I just got logged out. What happened? I think I hit, um, I think I hit the 6-hour logout timer. That sucks. I didn't even notice that. So I guess I'm not killing the final boss. But yeah, that's the end. That's the end of the run. I'm so glad you guys got to see it. What a bummer way to end this. I was gonna go kill that final boss and get another quiver, but wow. I hope it helped, guys. Let me know. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer. Sorry that just happened. That's actually a really bummer way to end the video. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have fun. Peace.